Hi, my name is Arvind Sharma, and I want to talk about ransomwares. But before that, and as rightly said, we're just 2 sessions away from having lunch. So just before lunch, let's have a quick exercise. How many of us know about ransomware? How many of us have heard about ransomware? Right? It's very, very relevant. A few years back, when I did something similar, I was talking about ransomware, there were very few hands which got raised. But nowadays, when I go and talk about ransomware, now we talk about names or specific ransomware that we're interested in, right? And why am I talking about ransomware? Because it's very relevant to the railways, right? Let's take a few, look at a few examples of some kind of ransomware attacks that have happened lately. One of them is here, which is what's targeted for Belarus railways. Now, this happened while the Ukraine war was going on, right? Still going on, and the attacker wanted to control the Belarus railways so that they can slow down the movement of Russian troops, right? So now, there are nation-state attacks which are happening, and they're leveraging ransomwares to attack the critical infrastructure of other countries, right? So in cases of war, right? So that's how relevant ransomware is for railways, right? Another example is where, in Denmark, in the Danish trains, it was not actually a ransomware attack that happened directly on the railways. It was a subcontractor who was managing the railway operations, which was under a ransomware attack. And because of that reason, the Danish trains came to a standstill. So it's not only for the railways to look at it directly, but also look at how your subcontractors are making sure they're maintaining the standards from a cybersecurity perspective. And third one is, something that Certain also mentioned about was the IoTs are also under threat of, DOS attacks, right? So when we talk about the smart railways, we hear about, log into that particular organization, let me attack. Can you give me tools? So they will pay some $50 per hour and there will be an attack on an organization. That's how easy it is to, do a ransomware attack. So once, the malicious code comes into your organization, the first thing it tries to do is get persistence. Make sure that it is not only present on one machine, it is present on as many machines with your infrastructure as much as possible, right? So the first thing it'll do is a lateral movement and try to infect as many machines within your infrastructure. It could be your IT devices, it could be your OT devices. Once it has done that, right, then it starts talking to, so I'll give you an example. There's a very well-known ransomware called Emotet. What it does is, once it infects your machines, it says, hey, I will not do anything now. I will open up these machines which I've already infected to anybody who wants to come and infect. So it just opens up the network. It shares all the data of whatever it has got from that network to the dark web and say, whoever wants to come and attack, please come and attack. Right? This is how strong the network around the cyber attacks are, the cyber criminals are. So that's where and the first thing it'll do is it'll try to get your data. When we look at ransomware, when we're reading newspapers and we're reading about ransomware, the first thing it talks about is that we have got your data. That's what the hacker says. Not that I have infected 10 machines. They don't talk about how many machines they've infected. They talk about I have got your data, right? Or what they will do is they'll try to attack your OT network. Why? Because there is a nation-state attack and one country wants to attack the other country, right? That is what they will do to disrupt that service, right? Finally, the last screen that normally we guys see in the newspaper, right? Which says that there's a ransomware note over there that you have to pay this much money, then only I'll give your data back. That is the last phase of ransomware. So when this happens, right, you would not, one solution will never work for this. You would need a solution which works at every phases of this particular movement of ransomware. It could be endpoint, network, email, web, everywhere, even for the OT security as well. All of them have to make sure that they're able to either prevent or at least detect something malicious happening, right? Because there's no silver bullet, right? So either you are able to detect it or you're able to prevent it, right? And once there should be a central team which can see this and monitor this traffic and say, hey, I see that there is something malicious happening in that particular network. I see these 10 devices, they're talking to each other and there's too much of data flowing in that network. This is not normal. That network doesn't send this much data. Something is going wrong. I want to go and see what's happening there. That is where we need a centralized monitoring team as well, right? So you need a multi-layered security and a centralized team which can monitor that and take a quick action the moment a malicious detection is done. Now, the reality is this ransomware attack on an average takes 3.5 days to happen within an organization. That's it. So from the first click that somebody did on a malicious link or somebody opened that attachment till the time you got the ransomware note, though all those stages together on an average take 3.5 days. That's it. So either your SOC team can quickly monitor that in 3.5 days and try to detect and prevent it, or within 3.5 days, you're already infected. That is the current state. And we work with our customers is we try to make sure we are able to increase that time to compromise to as long as possible. So that's why we go, our approach towards whether it's IT security or OT security is about a multi-layered architecture. One solution will never be able to help, right? And this is and ransomware is very, very relevant to OT, right? This is a SANS survey for OT and cybersecurity in 2021. The first thing, they look at, which is very relevant from a cybersecurity perspective for OT is ransomware, right? Not only IT, it's relevant for the OT as well. And the session before me was a very good session for me. Why? Because it explains what OT is and what OT security is. So I really don't have to get into it, right? But if you have any questions related to what our approach is on the IT and OT security, please, I would be here after the session as well. We can have a discussion on this, right? Now, especially for the OT industry, for the OT security, we have, as I said, multi-layered architecture. We start at the level 2 and go up to level 3.5, which is with the DMZ, right? We provide a management zone over there so that we can monitor what's happening at the layer 2, where your the IP-based network is, as to your DMZ zone, so that you can monitor it. If you are also, and a lot of I would like to see where the smart railways evolution goes, right? If we eventually are open to looking at the advanced analytics, there are a lot of advanced analytics available as a SaaS service. So how we can use those advanced analytics to help the security operations of railways, right? That would really help them. So when we say that you need to look at and detect a ransomware in less than 3.5 minutes, that means your SOC team has to be so in SANS there is a maturity curve, right? So they have to be really, really mature so that they can quickly identify what are the gaps and what is the malicious nature of this particular attack, and then prevent it. Means they should be able to do a root cause analysis and find where exactly this infection started from. If you have to do that, you need advanced analytics. So at some stage, we would need adoption of SaaS services, which can help us provide those kind of advanced analytics to your security operations team, and then that is where we as Trellix can help in, right? So with that, I would like to thank you for giving us time to talk about the cybersecurity for both IT and OT. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, I'm here. Please reach out to me. Thank you so much.